Welcome to the Uncollared podcast. I'm Father Jason.
And I'm Frank Fontana. And on this show, we believe there's something powerful in the search for the truth.
No topic is too big or too small. No questions are off limits.
And that is a good thing because I like to question everything.
So settle in and join us for some laughs and some deep thoughts and
maybe even some enlightening moments here and there.
We sure hope so.
Yeah.
This is the
Uncollared podcast.
Is it a sin, for example, is it a sin to get a tattoo? You know, how much alternation can we do for image? I
was gonna say, I'm cringing over here because I got like 7 of them.
Yeah. So
I'm all sinned up.
Yeah.
With the church.
Yeah, does a church have a threshold of like, is lips okay, but like facelift's not?
Yeah.
You know, or
what is the
Fake cheekbones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the principle is that your image is how God created you. So you can't think that you're not good enough. And by an alteration, then you're better. So that's the whole gender reality too. Like I wasn't created complete, and so I need to alter that. So if it's a cosmetic aesthetic thing to improve slightly, I have contacts on myself. Is that a sin? You're not being natural. I don't think it's about being natural or not. It's understanding your dignity. So the alterations you're doing, as long as they're proportional to that desire. Say you got burnt and you need a skin graft. Is that vanity? No, well, just God allowed you to get burnt. Well, there's a certain level of understanding and feeling comfortable in your own skin. And if you're constantly uncomfortable, well, then that's more of an identity problem. And that's where vanity can spiral rather than, something cosmetic and dyeing your hair, something more simple. So it's understanding dignity and the application of that in a proportional way. That's what the principle of the church is. So that, because like some people with tattoos, they have 1 or 2, it's fine. You sort of, oh yeah, I remember this, I remember that. But then if they completely go all out and, I don't like being white, so I'm going to change into, whatever, this pattern or that pattern. Well, then there's something of not accepting the way you were made too. And that's the sin.
Going on.
And the thing about vice is it is, I mean, you'd have to tap, like I would have to tap into their conscience. Like I would ask about their intentions and it's, it's in other words, there's some subjectivity to it. It's not all of, just because this woman does Botox, well, it could be for this reason, or for example,
what happened to thou shalt not judge?
No, yeah, that too. That's
right.
Too, yeah.
You got to throw that in
for
there.
Example,
because
like the what's it called, the fertility pills or whatever. Like some, some take. I'm on the pills because maybe they're a runner and they're they don't want during their marathon to be going through their moment. Is that a sin to take anti-conceptive pills?
Yeah.
Well, in that situation, it depends on the situation, why they're doing it, and how. Yeah. So the sin depends on your level of dignity and your proportionality of how you act on it.
So sin could be situational.
Depending on. So I would say with. Depending on, I guess depending on in regards to vanity or appearance, there's some obvious. If someone's completely, okay, that there's something up with that. You'll know. But if it's something minor and small and maybe it didn't go as well as they expected, and so you have to really talk to them. Maybe the women do look all alike, but like maybe that's not what they wanted. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to call, hey, you're a sinner. Like Scarlet Letter.
You with the
put an
big
A
lips.
on you. Yeah, big
You're
lips. Yeah, you pull a ruler out, like, okay,
Yeah.
you're literally of whatever millimeters.
You just
Sinner.
pull out the sin app.
Yeah.
So, Father, there is actual scientific quantum studies that have tied to something called the God particle that they discovered. There is science that does tie into, the idea of God.
Absolutely. It should.
It should.
It should. Yeah, because we can't forget in the scientific revolution, we're talking 1700s. and this is based off of Descartes. Sorry to throw a bunch of names at you. I don't want to name drop, but the sense of like science broke away from religion. Obviously, politics and religion, you need to sort of keep separate and distinguished. But technically, and this is where the modern, I guess you could say, the modern philosophers in the church try to bring, like John Paul II.
Yeah.
He literally wrote we call it encyclical. Have you heard anything like that? No. So it's like an official document called Faith and Reason. So we're trying to bring back, I mean, if it's true, it's true, even if it's through faith. Like faith truths are true, but they're beyond reason. So like John Paul II says, those are like the two wings of encountering a reality. So you need both. So just faith alone, just like if you take a fly, you take off a wing and it flies with one wing, it's going to just spin in a circle. So you can't just be a scientist and understand all reality, nor can you just be, certain faiths are just pure faith, or certain religions have a double truth, like a faith truth and a scientific truth, and they don't line up. But what we believe is that they're in sync. So anything that's scientifically true can be proven through faith, and anything faith should be proven through science. So a concrete example of what you just said is where we studied in Rome. We have our own university. There's the Shroud of Turin. Have you heard of that at all or no? So like it's supposedly the cloth that was over Jesus. So they're still studying that cloth because technically it's like Jesus doing a selfie. Like when he rose from the dead, he levitated, took a selfie, left his imprint on that, and it took until the 1800s for the photographer, I forgot his name, Italian dude, but he made like a negative of it, and he found there's photographic negativity on that cloth.
Wow. So
it took us 1800 years to figure that out. So there's other things like NASA took it and they found three-dimensional information, like a hologram. There's holographic, like the spacecrafts go out into like the moon and take different pictures. There's different dimensions on that cloth. And to your point, there is that God particle. So there's the whole Big Bang theory of how there are particles. There's energy of the Big Bang technically in that cloth.
Interesting.
So in other words, science and faith tradition and faith and science should coincide over time.
See that?
That
brings
that's a whole
me a
topic.
little closer.
A little closer. Here we go.
Yeah, see, now
one step at a time.
A little sense, right?
A little bit at a time.
I can vibe with that.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Yeah. So maybe on another whole show, I would love to bring in like tradition and faith, like the truths of the faith. Make a tradition. So there's certain traditions that we do, and unless we dig into them. For example, just as real simple, I know we're over time, but it's in St. Peter's. Why they call it St. Peter's? Like the trick question is like, who's buried at St. Peter's? And some people are like, Jesus. And we're like, no, Jesus wasn't. But anyways, St. Peter is technically buried in St. Peter's. But that's 2,000 years ago. Okay. So that's the tradition. You know how long it took them until actually they went down and see if St. Peter's actually there?
Not a clue.
1952. They were expanding the crypt because they needed more room for the popes. So literally, the tradition is St. Peter's there, but they never looked. So they actually went down and found. Long story short, they actually found the bones, and it actually is right over the center of the cupola that Michelangelo built in the 1600s. So like tradition says it, but then science comes later and proves it. So in other words, it should coincide. And obviously, there's other things that we can talk about, certain theories, and even the Shroud of Turin, they did a Carmen test. It dates back to the Crusades. It was
all right. You sold me the science. Science and religion together.
Yeah.
We can make it work.
So, but anyways, So, hey, one topic at a time, right?
Yeah, one topic at a time.
Good stuff.
All
awesome. Until the next time.
What's the next time? He's collared. I'm uncollared.